dealing with evidence, of course, that most juries deal with. And these particular juries, again, under the heading or auspices of tongue or half-tongue jury, you can demand or select. And in fact, in the case of juries being stacked against you, of what they call jury of your peers, which are generally or typically statutory persons, 14th Amendment persons, and the like, these juries, as I said, of which are juries that, again, don't share any of the same markers or national markers. This tongue or half-tongue jury is something of which you must demand. You have to demand a tongue or half-tongue jury. It's vitally important. Vitally, vitally important. And as I said, this ACESA jury, coming under the heading of tongue or half-tongue jury, is also a jury that is reflective of particular writs, legal writs, that the defendant can use or utilize in that case. Okay? Those writs are, before I go any further, if for any reason some of you are not with me, or it sounds strange, or you want me to repeat something, or break it down even further, I'll be glad to do that, okay? And I know that typically there's usually like a question and answer portion of it, but more importantly, I want you to really get or fully comprehend everything that I'm saying, okay? So, there it is. But anyway, yes?
Sorry.
Don't be.
The tongue or half-tongue jury, exactly who will it consist of, and can I request more in that present state?
Well, that's the whole science and nature of it. In the question and nature of judicature, i.e. jurisdiction, is that you are, again, demanding, not asking for, or, well, do you think I can? No, you're demanding a tongue or half-tongue jury respectfully, you know, but demanding it nonetheless as you have a right to, because you have a right to a jury trial, right? Of course, you know, you will find yourself in many statutory forums today where they'll tell you, well, there will be no jury trial, like, say, for example, housing court, or most administrative forums.
A bench.
Right, a bench trial and the like. But rest assured, or shall I say, make sure that you, I don't care what the forum is, that you always demand a tongue or half-tongue jury trial. And even though it may sound odd to them, that's neither here nor there, because it's not about them. It's about you and your freedom, and you asserting or exercising your right or rights, okay? And in so doing, you then honor your ancestors, okay? Very important, because then this ties you into, or brings you back into, again, the whole issue of inheritance, right? And let me just say this too, and one of the reasons why I touched on this whole language issue and tongue, half-tongue jury and the like, is that it plays into the acceptance of that inheritance. In other words, there can be no inheritance without a formal or proper acceptance of that inheritance. You have to actually make a formal acceptance of that inheritance. Those of you, or many of you who, for example, may have come through the Moorish Science Temple of America, and you've seen in the Constitution and bylaws where it says that with us all members must proclaim their nationality, not that you should, not that you ought to, or that because, you know, the sun is out, it's a nice day, but that you must. And the same holds true with all of those components or elements of nationality, and the major one being inheritance and the exercise again thereof. And so there must be a proper acceptance of that, which is generally done orally or written via whatever language of that nation is.
When you make that too, when you're claiming your nationality, to whom and where are you making that to?
Right. Well, to whom and where is governmental or government forums. In other words, for all the world to see and know the truth, to which shall never pass. You follow? So in other words, you're making a government record of it. Whether you're doing it on a county, state, or federal level, whether you're doing it internationally, what have you. And then, thereafter, acting it out. You follow? Because more importantly than any of it is you acting upon these said promulgations, declarations, asseverations, and the like. Okay?
Would it have anything to do, then it's not necessarily important to go to, for example, Social Security office. Let's say you become a Moorish American, you're claiming your nationality, you know, the whole thing. But under your Social Security statute, it says that you're black or Negro or something like that. Now, do you go and change that, or when you make your statement to the state and to the county, is that enough?
In some instances, it may be, and that depends on the individual. And I say that only because, similar to like tax issues, you know, it doesn't. There's no one blanket thing, if you will, that applies to all, because it's like a case-by-case thing. But for the most part, you can do that with Social Security if you so desire, for those of whom are utilizing it. But for those who aren't, well, obviously there's no need. So I hope I've answered your question.
No, you did.
Okay, sure.
Juries of your peers.
Mm-hmm.
So if I wanted a jury of my peers, I could pick 12 brothers that was bamboozled by the system, and they would be my, you understand what I'm saying?
Right. Now, in theory, based on your logic, that makes perfect sense. But for what you are asserting in what would otherwise be an unfriendly forum and atmosphere, or hostile one, which again prides itself on, as I mentioned earlier, the ikra, you know, compulsory acts of forcing one to do something against their will or incriminating themselves. So given that factor, we're talking about a jury of your peers, yes, but of the same national origin. And that must be, for lack of a better term, proven or established in such a way that they are of the same national origin, so that you will then again have a competent jury of your peers. You follow? And there must be some demonstration, you know, of this. Otherwise, it's really a farce. You follow? So, I've answered your question.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
My first question, I have two questions. My first question is, how does a